Welcome back, everyone, to another episode, Cosplayers Paradigm. The seasons may have changed, but the love for the cosplay has not. And today, we are joined with Max Skeleton Goblet. Interesting name by trade, but definitely a person to go ahead and watch for here in the future. How are we doing today, Max?
I'm doing really good. Getting my day
That,
started.
hey, that works. I mean, everyone's got to get their day started somehow. Some of us go ahead and get out of bed and start running. Others go ahead and wait about 3 hours before getting out of bed and decided, oh, maybe it's time.
That's me. I am a wait 3 hours and then get up.
But you know what? You're still up, which means, unlike a lot of other people who wake up at the last minute, you're ready to go if it's necessary. So that's something.
Yeah, it's ugh. Early mornings are odd because I'm both a morning person and a night owl. Sometimes they collide where it's like that. Oh, I've been up all night. Oh, it's time to get up.
Well, you know what? You know it's like right there. It's basically Rocky Balboa versus Ivan Drago. They collide, but good movie, good aesthetics. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and dive in a little bit here. And what got you into cosplay?
Oh, um, I grew up being immersed in fandom culture, kind of. My grandparents were very big Lord of the Rings fans. Still are very big Lord of the Rings fans. Like we just recently rewatched the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, and they were always like yeah, this stuff is really cool. This is fantasy, and I was like always so wowed out by it. Also, my grandparents, both of them, played video games, so I was always learning about Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and the all known World of Warcraft. I started playing World of Warcraft when I was like maybe 9, 8, with like my grandparents watching, of being like, oh, this is what you could do to do this quest, or hey, if you need help, let me log in on our other computer and we can do a quest together. Um, my mother was also very big into comic books, and I just kind of grew up in like this state of like always knowing what like fandom culture was, but not really knowing what fandom culture was because I didn't know Comic Cons existed. I didn't know like cosplays were a thing until I was like 13, 14, when my mom just was like, "Hey, Grand Rapids has a Comic Con. Do you want to go to it?" And in 2017, I went to my first Grand Rapids Comic Con. Uh, but the thing that got me into cosplay was watching cosplay videos on YouTube because it
Okay.
was 2016, 2015, 2014, where like going out and cosplay and filming videos was like extremely popular. Being able to like mostly I was watching like Attack on Titan videos, Tokyo Ghoul stuff that was really popular like in like 2010s era anime scene. I was watching that, being like, I want to do that. That looks like fun. And then showing my mom and being like, Mom, can I do this? And then one night I was like, Mom, can we actually make this? And she's like, the convention is tomorrow. Absolutely, let's do it. And we spent the entire night hot gluing, piecing together things, and cutting a Party City wig.
Oh, nice.
And that was like my step into like the cosplay scene, was making a CL Phantom Hive cosplay for Grand Rapids Comic Con 2017.
Not that wow. So it wasn't basically, oh, hey, this sounds cool. Maybe I should do this. You were immersed in it right from the beginning, from fandoms to the styles to genre, gaming, comics, everything. And then when you decided to go to your first con, you skipped about 3 years worth of worrying about doing the cosplay, and you got the con crunch, you got the regular con, you got building all in one. You literally hit the road running right there. When it came to cosplay. So
um, I was like, this became a sudden hyperfixation, um, and I just couldn't stop. Like I was thinking about what wigs could I get, um, what costumes could I buy, what should I make, but then again, I was still I was still a young teenager. I was 12, 13, 14. I didn't have I didn't have the money. I didn't have the funds. I was literally banking on Christmas and my birthday for getting literally anything. Or, hey, it's a random day in the summertime. I've done, I've mowed the lawn for the past like 3 months. Could I get something? And I kind of just at that point was like, okay, this is all I have to wait for. I just have to wait for Christmas and my birthday. And then I could figure out what to make. And throughout the year, I'd be thinking, okay, I want this wig, and this wig, not knowing how to style them. Just throwing them on and being like, that's good.
Definitely a work in progress when it comes down to wigs. Something I definitely would like to learn later on as well, but like you said, don't have the money at times, so it's a kind of wait it out a bit.
It's, I still like thinking back to like those early years of cosplaying, of being like, okay, I don't have the money for any of this. Halloween just happened. The grocery store has Halloween stuff for 50% off. Maybe I can convince my parents, can I get a few of these really cheap wigs that I could probably style? Not having any styling knowledge at all. And that's how I spent a lot of Halloweens, was just banking on like what could I get for 50% off.
Fair.
For like a few quarters or a few dimes,
Hey,
which
and a little bit helps.
has fueled how I see cosplay nowadays.
It is kind of fun, isn't it?
It
Knowing that,
is.
I mean, someone here has really cheap. I bought it at the store, Rite Aid, CVS, whatever, but it still looks fun. You have the other person who spent way too much, like, you know what? Forget the mortgage. I spent it all on my costume. But everyone has fun. Everyone smiles. The fandoms. It's inclusively awesome. You know, I don't care if my grammar is wrong. I apologize out there, but sometimes you have to emphasize the fact that it's fun.
It's so much fun because I'm horrible at looking at price tags when it comes to cosplays. Like, I'm always like, is it too much? Am I spending too much on this? Am I breaking my bank account?
Well, don't break it. Definitely don't break bank accounts. Other bills definitely more important. Budget it out. But I know what you mean. I mean, it's hard to put a price on something that you're passionate about. But if you can be frugal, figure a different way. Maybe you saw their version and it's 250. But you know what? This shop over here has something similar, and I can make it for $5. Why not?
That's always my thought process with cosplay is, okay, a lot of my friends have bought their costumes and I'm watching them spend like hundreds of dollars and I'm like, okay, that I don't have that. um the thrift store's over here. It has all of the pieces I could need to build it, and I could spend $25 and get everything that you just spent 200 on.
Exactly. And that's one
And
of the beauties there. People just have to realize, you know,
there's the beauty of not having to worry about, oh my god, this wig is super expensive if I commission it from somebody, or oh my god, this costume that I'm buying off of online is super expensive, but it has all the pieces I need. I I also struggle with finding costumes that fit me online because I have very broad shoulders, I have very long legs, a long torso. So it's always hard to find costumes in my size. So I've just come to the conclusion of, it's hard to find my size. I might as well just make it for cheaper.
I'm there with you on that one too. It is hard. You go to a store that specializes in costumes. You go there and you see, oh, this is the one size that fits most. I'm not the most.
I'm not one size fits all.
No,
I'm a bulky person. I'm gonna not fill any of this out. Ugh.
no, definitely understand that one. So, but you have the
Can
right idea. Make it yourself. thrift it, put it together. Other people's envisions of what one size fits most or fits all is okay, but we're all diverse in so many different styles. We're tall, small, large, long, old, young, unicorn, what basic, whatever. Just
It's always fun. Like I I also like making things for people. Like I make a lot of costumes for my boyfriend. I make a lot of costumes for my friends. And it's fun to see them light up and be like, "Oh, I didn't have to tailor this afterwards because it actually fits me." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's that's the fun part about making it yourself is that you don't have to figure out, oh, if I buy a size too big, I can tailor it in where it needs to fit, or I need to hem the pants because the pants are too long, but they fit my hips." And I'm always when I bought like maybe two cosplays in my like cosplaying experience just because I was like, oh, I might as well just buy this. I don't have the time to make it, and then it gets there, and I'm like, oh, none of it fits. So I have to spend, even though I only have a week till the convention, I have to spend that entire week dissecting this costume so that it actually fits.
Yep. Gotta love it. But you have the skills, you have the tools, you have the talent to be able to do so, which is good. You know, you probably have spent quite a bit of time YouTubes and other tutorials figuring out what to do, especially in a con crunch, right?
A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of my grandma who sews. I would be like, Grandma, how do you do this? Grandma, do you know how to do this? Oh, the machine isn't working, Grandma.
Hey, perfect resource right there. If you have a family member that's able to help you, what better way? Family, friend, it's good to
being like,
rely on someone.
does anybody have a pattern for this? I don't feel like I can't spend the money on an extra pattern. Does anybody have a pattern for this in this size? Being able to talk around. That's my favorite thing is like having people that also sew, being like, hey, do you have a pattern that could fit this size? And then being like, oh yeah, I have this pattern. It's probably a size too big, but you can always size it down. And I'm like, thank you. Give me the pattern.
Very nice. Now, out of all the cosplays that you've done over this time period, what would you say some of your favorite ones are?
uh, I think one of my favorite projects I've worked on is my Mad Moxie cosplay from Borderlands.
Okay.
It was my first very big full sewing project that I didn't start like 4 weeks before the convention. I spent a good solid 3-4 months on this, just trying to figure out how am I gonna do it because I didn't have a pattern. I had a pattern that could kind of work, but didn't have like a full pattern because there's not really a pattern for Moxie's outfit. That was something I had to kind of tailor and be like, okay, I have a pattern for a tailcoat. Let me add a front panel, and there we go. We've got her weird dress tailcoat thing that she has on. But that was also trial and error of being like, I don't have a lot of fabric because I didn't couldn't spend the money on the fabric that I really wanted, so I got the slightly cheaper alternative, and I could only get like 4 yards of that, and that was still like so much money. Ugh. And sewing it, going in between, because I didn't live with my grandparents at the time when I was making this, so I was going in between where I was living and my grandparents' house, which was a good like 45-minute drive. Anytime that I had free time, I was going down here to sew, and I would sew for hours. If I was working third shift at the time too, so if I worked the next like that night, I would sleep at my grandparents' house for like a good solid 4 hours, and then go to work, get out of work, go back to my grandparents' house. But she trial and error, and still one of my favorite costumes I've ever made. She gets her own protective sleeve and gets to hang in my closet because I'm not letting that thing get shoved into the buckets.
There.
The other one would have to be. It's not something that I actually got to post about, but I made a ball gown for the first time last year for Capital City Comic Con.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was my first time ever making a ball gown. Like, trial and error. I didn't have a pattern for a skirt, I didn't have a pattern for a bodice. I kind of just, on a whim, found something to make arm sleeves and a top, turned it into a bodice. It was held together by heat and bond and hot glue because our sewing machine broke halfway through making it.
Mm,
So we had to like scramble around to be like, okay, we don't have, our sewing machine isn't working, everything's gonna fall apart. The seams of this bodice are held together by hot glue, but still, it was a trial thing to do. I've never made a ball gown. I made it in 2 weeks.
oh, that's impressive.
I I worked day and night on this. Like, oh my god, can I actually finish this in like the time frame? I'm working on other costumes. I'm working on wigs. Can I actually sew this in enough time to like it actually looks good? It came out decent to what I would say. It it lives in the buckets. That's how I that's how I feel about it. I I do hope to at some point because I have a new sewing machine to actually like take all the heat and bond out of it and actually like sew all the panels together, turn the bodice because the bodice is actually just a zip up in the back. I
Okay.
want to, I want to take the zipper out and make it into an actual like corset bodice, like adding the
Oh,
because there's no lining anywhere in this costume. It is just all raw edges on the inside.
oh,
So
okay.
I actually want to take the time and put the lining in, put some boning in, and then actually turn it into a corset back so that it fits more like a bodice than like a t-shirt.
That's smart.
But
Very cool.
it's it was something that I was like, this is a costume that I've been like dreaming of since I was a child because it was a Barbie dress. What kid didn't love Barbie and like the early 2000 Barbie movies that came out? And I was like, I'm gonna make this. This is gonna be something I have to do. So I did it. It
Hey,
doesn't look the best, but I did it.
if you like how it looks, if it felt good and people looked at you and they knew what you were, then you succeeded. It doesn't matter if it looks the best, it looks the worst, or nothing, because even something that looks the worst still can be recognized for what it is. And honestly, that's all you're really wanting to do. You know, you want to
it.
portray that style, and if someone sees it, there it is.
I did get said I looked like the Barbie doll that was released in the early 2000s because of the material that I used. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking that as a compliment because those Barbie doll outfits were very hard to like get rid of.
You see, there you go. Now, those being some of your favorites, dare I ask what was one of your worst?
Oh my I say this even though it was my first costume. That CL costume from 2017 is the worst I have ever made. It Party City wig that actually was the wrong color, the wrong shades of blue. Um, I was wearing tights that were a size like too small. Ugh. Things were like haphazardly super glued together. We didn't have hot glue, so it was super glue. And we had a skirt piece that was held together by a bunch of like badge pins
Oh, okay.
because we ran out of super glue to super glue this like mesh material so it would be poofy. My mom comes out of nowhere and I was like, I have a bunch of pins. And we just start taking these little button pins and we button pin everywhere. The Grand Rapids Comic Con elevate escalators did get me though because it did eat my skirt piece. I
You're
heard the
not the
button go
first.
pop 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 and the escalator was eating it.
You're not the first to have told me that the escalators there have caused trouble with their cosplays.
They eat
Um,
things. I swear.
well, sometimes it's not just eat. One of them was going up the escalator and he tripped, and because of that, his um, I guess you could say the feet of his cosplay got damaged. Then there was another person who went ahead and slipped as well, so the dress didn't get quite caught, but it did get pulled a little. So
I feel like the Grand Rapids Comic Con escalators are thirsty for blood sometimes.
nah, I've seen worse. I really have.
They're hungry for cosplays. That's what it is.
So recently there was a a con that I went to, and they had to stop everything, and it sounded like, and I kid you not, in a con, it sounded like maybe a 10-foot by 6-foot giant air conditioner, you know, fell and hit the ground. It was that loud boom. What it was the stopping, the sudden stopping because it got jammed of the escalator. Unfortunately, this cosplayer's dress was a little too long, and when she was getting down, right before the end, it hit, got sucked in, and she started getting sucked in a little bit, but it completely stopped. So luckily, she was safe. Um, Make sure, and this is a good PSA for anyone out there who has long cosplays.
Pick them up
Keep,
when you're going
yes,
later.
watch your step. If you're tired, which I get, cons are long. We sometimes forget to eat, drink water, but keep
If you have a
definitely
friend,
keep an eye on it.
have them pick up your skirt. If you are
Yes,
tired, have that one friend that's just behind you to grab it, lift it up. It makes
exactly.
a difference.
Yeah, having a friend there definitely helps. It does make the difference, but just be careful. If you're in a cosplay where you have difficulty seeing, make sure that you have a guide, a friend, someone who's helping you around. Um, Escalators, stairs, yeah, they're no joke. You know, I mean,
We
hey,
are the
Poe
day.
from Kung Fu Panda even said it right there. Mortal enemy, stairs.
Stairs, and when you're wearing high heels or platforms, you're like, I've been climbing these for 20 minutes. My feet hurt. Can
Yep,
this be done with?
exactly. But we all we've all dealt with this in the past. Pretty much any cosplayer will tell you we suffer for our art. You know, some of
Again,
us more than others. Me, not as much, but I've still suffered.
we lose the feeling in our fingers due to hot glue.
You
We've
know,
had sewing machines run over our fingers,
we wear
stabbed
stuff
ourselves.
that rubs a little too much and causes scars. You know, but hey, in the end, making that smile, going to a competition, just wandering the con, it's worth it in the end.
It really is. You get to that point where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm uncomfortable, I'm overstimulated, but I'm in this place that I'd rather be overstimulated and uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else except here.
Exactly. But on the note of overstimulated, what was it like going to Kogan Con?
Uh, for the first time going, I was very impressed. Um, I'm so used to like Grand Rapids Comic Con, Capital City Comic Con, and Amkey over in Milwaukee. Those really big conventions with huge, like huge vending halls. There's multiple places to go to, and
Hmm.
you're crammed in against a bunch of other people, and you're like, okay, there's so much going on. I have to walk out for a bit. I walked in there and I was like, I don't want to leave. The venue is slightly small. There's not a lot of people. Actually being able to talk to the vendors without feeling like you're overstaying your time because there's not people
Yes.
right behind you. Being able to talk to the cosplay guests was actually quite enjoyable because I go to cons and usually I want to go talk to the cosplay guests, but usually they have like swamps of people. There's so many people around, and that it just feels like if you go over and talk, you feel like you're just there for a little bit too long, even if you're there for like only a couple minutes to compliment, talk about what they've been building. It just feels like you've been there for forever and you're taking up their time. Going to Con, being able to talk to the three cosplay guests was actually wonderful. We got to sit there and actually talk about things like how they did photo shoots, how they build things, like any advice that I could get used, like any advice they could give, which was amazing. Also, entering the cosplay contest the night before, being
There it
like,
is.
I can do this. um, that was like I've had cosplay contests where they have prejudging, and prejudging was great as Coke and Con. I heard some people complaining, but in my experience, that was great prejudging. Being able to go in, they had a timer, they gave you a time, how much to do. Being able to just quickly talk about everything. They had like my build books, all of everything that I could give, and then going out and then waiting. That's the worst part, is the waiting after prejudging and then walking. Being like the fourth, I think I was like maybe the seventh, eighth person to walk that stage, and
Mm.
I was having fun. I was vibing. I got to be one of my favorite characters from media, Timothy Lawrence from Borderlands. Like, that is my character. He is literally the reason I even got into Borderlands, the series, anyways. I was like, I like this little silly guy. I need to be him at some point. And talking to people behind stage after they're walking. I love interacting with, like, people would say competition. That's not competition. Those are your allies. Those are your cosplay allies. They are people that are gonna you're gonna learn from them in line. You're gonna learn from them after you're done walking, because sometimes you're just sitting there waiting for the rest of the people to walk. You're gonna get to know the people. You make friends with them. They're not competition. They are your allies.
Yeah.
That's something that I I personally want to strive for in the cosplay competition community. Is it's not competition, they are your allies. They Yes, you guys are going up against each other, but it's not a rivalry. You can learn stuff from each other, like, hey, I've never done beading. This person has a bunch of beading on their costume. Maybe I can talk to them behind the scenes, like, how did you do this? Like, what's something that I could learn if I wanted to get into this? Like, what's the material that I should look for? Or somebody has great foam work, like they have giant armor pieces, giant swords. Okay, what do you use to like heat up your stuff? What do you use for like contact? How you keep everything stuck together? But sitting behind and talking about, like, oh, we've done this is what I've been building in the year, showing off pictures of sharing that stuff, instead of being like, I can't talk to these people because they're competition. Don't do that. Talk to me. I want to know what you're doing. I want to
Yeah.
interact.
Yeah, pretty
But
much every
also,
cosplayer wants to go ahead and talk, but some people feel so intimidated to even go up to them. So note to everyone out there, if you see a cosplayer, if you want to talk to them, just do it. The
just go
chances
up,
are,
be respectful about it. Be like,
yeah,
if you see, hey, maybe a cosplayer sitting down, leaning up against a wall, they're probably resting for a bit.
yeah,
Maybe be like, okay, I've seen them. Take a mental note of like some things that you could find out about their outfit, and be like, okay, they're resting. Maybe I can find them later. And if you
yeah,
find them later and they're up and doing something, just go up and be like, patiently being like, hey, can I ask a few questions about like how you made things? That is like my favorite thing, is when people are like, how did you make that? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you.
But if you
But
see someone leaning up against the wall or sitting down, they may be taking a break, lunch. Don't want to interrupt them, of course, because they've had a long day. But some of them won't mind if you come up and just see how they're doing. You know, let them be there to relax, but making sure they're okay, or if they need anything, if being kind goes a long way.
it does go a long way in the cosplay community.
It does.
But yeah, talking behind stage at Kogan Con, the winners looked amazing. They all had really cool like advice to give me. I'm still like reeling over it.
Yeah.
Being 5 minutes of being like, okay, they're announcing winners. Let's go. Throwing my hands up in front of everyone, like, I'm not gonna win anything. Like, I proudly stated, I'm not gonna win, and the first judge's choice that they announced was me. And I've never won anything. I've been competing since, oh my god, I think like Capital City 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Cap City 2021. Maybe no, 2022. That's what it was. 2022. I've been competing since 2022. and I've been cosplaying for like 10 years almost 10 years, and I've never won anything. I've never gotten like that kind of recognition from what I've made before, and then immediately getting my name called after proudly stating I wasn't gonna win anything fucking jolted me awake, and I was like, oh, okay. Immediately started crying just because I'm somewhat of an emotional person. I wasn't expecting anything, so I'm just sitting there like bawling my eyes out. My makeup is running. I'm trying to like smile through tears. I have so many photos from my friends that were in the crowd, and I just look like I'm trying so hard to smile, and I'm just in there like I'm just like I'm doing good. I'm doing so great right now. I'm not suffering.
Nope, definitely not for something like that. But I'm
I
gonna guess it is probably one of your favorite moments now in the cons.
one of my it is like set the fire back in me to create more, like sitting down and actually like, okay, let's actually plan this out and get this going. Like, I have a costume that I'm making for YomaCon coming up.
Okay.
YomaCon, guys, Yoma. And I kept a lot of it secret, actually. I've been posting small updates of like what I've added, what I've been making, but I haven't really stated who it is, what it's for, and I'm keeping it that way until it's completely done.
I completely understand that. Having that fun surprise, seeing people's reaction, debuting a new cosplay like that.
It
It's
is
definitely fun.
it is one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite video games at the moment. And I've been wanting to cosplay him for years now, but I never thought that I could do him like proper justice because I always was like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Who cares? I'm just gonna do it.
I definitely get that. Recently, I came across a few different characters that I forgot about. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I want to cosplay them. So I'm kind of looking into how to put it together. And who knows, maybe by the end of this year, I might be able to put something together. If not, I got next year. There's plenty of time and plenty of cons to go to.
There's plenty of time and plenty of cons. Ugh, thinking about next year is like I've got so many plans. I've got so many things that I have to start probably in the next like month or two to even get them done.
Now, I definitely understand that. I'm trying to go ahead and find different cons to go to. I want to go to some of the same ones, of course, obviously, for many reasons, but broaden my horizons within schedule of work and money. But I've gone out of state a few times and I was blown away with how they're set up there. I think I want to go farther. I want to go maybe down to Florida, Tennessee. I definitely want to check out New York if I'm able to. They don't just have the large cons there. There's smaller ones in between, and some of the posting I've seen online of those cons have been intriguing. They look different than what I'm used to, and I'm all about trying to see something new.
I I want to go to more out of state conventions. I know next year I have a few that I'm going to. Like I'm going to Colossal Con for the first time next year,
Okay.
which has that's all the way in that's all the way in Ohio. Ohio. And I'm like, okay, I have a bunch of friends that are going. It's also a longer con. It's a bigger convention.
Mm-hmm.
Been to that Kalahari once in my life, and it's huge. Like I got myself lost in there at like 13. I was like, I have no idea where I am. Wait, there's the arcade. The arcade is an entire floor. There's a giant water park. What am I doing here? But knowing that turns into like this giant like community of cosplayers doing like summer activities, a lot of really cool stuff. There's a bunch of panels to go to. There's a lot of fan panels you can go to. Fan panels actually are like one of my favorite things to do if like, hey, somebody's hosting a funny panel with this special interest that I'm into. Hey, everybody's in character, we're playing games. My favorite kind of panels if when you can interact with other cosplayers that are just in character. They're doing improv, they're doing theatrics. It's so much fun to do. And then there's the other panels that are like lecture panels that are like they could be stupid lecture panels like talking about what Minecraft mob is the best, or it could be like actual serious ones like talking about how to write your own fantasy world, like how to build that kind of world, that world building you can do. And fan panels in conventions, no matter where you go, are going to be super different because some of them will be more silly at maybe at like this more party centric convention the panels are more silly, or this convention that's a little smaller and has like some more serious guests probably is going to have some more serious panels like how to sew, how to do cosplay planning, stuff like that.
Which is definitely great, because a lot of us, we do it, but we could always learn more. Which actually brings up to a nice little point right here for anyone watching this episode. Don't forget like and share with others. But on the note of panels going to different cons, why don't you leave a comment of some of your favorite panels you've seen, or comment panels that you would like to see in the future by people that maybe no one's ever covered. I'm actually looking to do a few of them myself and put them together, and I'm always looking for new inspiration and ideas. So please leave a comment, share, get that ball rolling. And if you want, message me directly right here, and I'll gladly go ahead and respond because I'd be willing to collaborate and do more like that and have fun. You currently have a panel you're working on.
I do have a panel I'm working on for my fellow cosplayers that are going to Grand Rapids Comic Con. I am hosting a panel called Thrifty Cosplay, and it is in the title. It is going to encourage you more to do thrifting for your cosplays. I I'm always cosplaying on pinched pennies. I I usually give myself a budget for fabric. Maybe if I have the extra money, I'm using like $40 for fabric, which a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a lot for fabric." When you're going to like a fabric store, that'll get you
Mm.
maybe like 2 yards of fabric.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky and you're looking in clearance at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or rest in peace Joann's.
Mhm.
Looking there, you could still find their clearance bundles for per yard could be up to like $7 a yard. And that adds up quickly. If you need 4 yards, that's like almost $38. There's your entire budget.
Yeah,
Have any extra to get any other stuff?
and some of the stuff that you're looking at is even minor stuff too, like zippers, buttons, pins. I mean, they're not minor as in putting it together; they're just minor as in normal cost, and yet you blew your budget. But a lot of people don't realize it's the same with anything. You know, cosplay, yes, it has its expensive notions for budget fabric wise, but sports has the same thing. Cars have the same thing. Computers, video games, each genre, niche, all of it has something where it's expensive. So honestly, we shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, we should be more open minded and realizing thrifty would be good. So honestly, I'm gonna have to check that panel out because I'm loving the idea.
I I love the thrift store. The store has been my home for cosplays for like ages because I grew up in not the most wealthy household, I will say. So cosplaying was always a treat more than like a hobby. It's only recently become a hobby since I've been 18 and have my own job, stuff like that. It's been I've been able to actually call it, oh, this is actually a hobby. It isn't like something I can do once every year. I do it once every year. It's something that I can continuously do throughout the year and make. So the thrift store was like my home for finding pants, finding shirts, hell, even finding old Halloween props. Going to like Goodwill, Salvation Army during Halloween and looking through what really bad wigs they had or what awful costumes that I could use and like rip apart and like glue back together. But recent years, it's been like I'm not looking for actual clothing. I'm looking in their curtain section. I'm looking at their bed sheets. What can I use as fabric? This is a tablecloth set that comes with napkins, a runner, a tablecloth. That tablecloth is about like 3 yards of fabric. I can use that. Oh, this bed sheet is also like almost 4 yards of fabric if I take the elastic out. Spending just like I got maybe like I'm going to estimate like 13 yards of fabric at the Salvation Army in their clearance section, like not in the curtain section, not clearance, for $20, all of it for $20. And I'm looking at it like if I went to the fabric store, this would be like $300 worth of fabric.
Jeez.
This would have been like because it was sheer fabric, it was patterned fabric, it was silk material fabrics that I knew like the silk material fabric, even if it's not real silk, that still would have been like maybe $15 a yard. The the sheer fabric again, because it's really sheer fabric isn't that common sometimes, and it's you would get it for like maybe 15 as well. 15, maybe $17 a yard. And I'm looking at my cart like, oh my god, I'm gonna blow my whole budget. I get to the register and she's like, oh, $25. And I was like, 25? I'm still using the fabric. I got this in like the beginning of September. And I was thinking I was gonna run out by like the end of September. I still have like half a yard of one material, 4 yards of another. I I'm still like shocked. I'm like, oh my god, I still have fabric. If I mess up at any time, I still have fabric to remake things. Because I've always been like the fabric that I have is the fabric that I have. So I have to be very precise. And that's how it would be. I'd be like to the T, measurements. Everything would be like cut out to the angle that it needed to be. And I'd have like maybe half a yard of fabric left, and I'd be like, okay, I cannot mess up at any point. If I mess up, I'm screwed. But the panel is going to talk about what to look for, what like days are really good to go for like the thrift store, um, what holidays to go after. Like going after Christmas, you're going to get a lot of like Christmassy fabrics, like maybe some old bed sheets because got new ones for Christmas. And where to go and find them, like go to your local go to your local like thrift store. Like it's not a name brand, it's not Salvation Army, it's not not Goodwill. Being able to look through it and be like, okay, what can I find here? Okay, I can't find fabric. Look in the t-shirts. See if you can find a t-shirt and modify it. Look at the seams. Look at everything at that. Being like, okay, I need a shirt that's yellow. None of the shirts that are yellow at the thrift store have are just blank. They all have patterns on them. Go look through the white t-shirts. The white t-shirts usually don't have any patterns on them. And you can go get dye for like $1. And there you go. You've got a dyed t-shirt that you can like paint over or add fabric on top of. It's going to be like my passion panel of being like, you don't have money, neither do I. Let's talk about how I've made several costumes out of like pennies.
That is very cool. Informative and definitely inclusive there too, which is beautiful.
Friday, 2 p.m. at Grand Rapids Comic Con.
There you go. 2 p.m. We'll definitely have to check you out there. I mean, we're going to go ahead and see you the rest of the weekend, of course. If you're going for only one day, it's one thing. If you're going for all three, perfect. But yeah. Now, you've got a lot of cons you said in the future that you're looking at. You're going to Colossal Con, probably Grand Rapids and Capital again. But are there any other ones that you've been intrigued about that you might take on in 2026?
I went to this one this year at the beginning of the year. I went to ESHOCon. ESHO
Oh,
is over in Ypsilanti. It would be next year's their third year doing the convention, and I was very pleased with how they were running it. It
okay.
was very smooth and efficient. The venue is a little small because it is just a hotel. They have a smaller vendor hall, but they also have a lot of really cool things that happen after hours. Like if you're an after hours person and you're like over the age of 18, go check out their after hours stuff. They hold a rave, an anime rave out in this little like really cool dance floor area. They have like a bar with some drinks. It was fabulous to go to. Like it was great to see the nightlife take over because during the day it was really fun, like going to some of the panels, going to some of the photo shoots, and then like nighttime rolls around and like the nightlife of the convention got even better. Like everybody was showing off their costumes that light up, that were glowing, or like you've got the bunny suit groups, or like people that are wearing their really cool rave outfits and like giving like characters those like alternative outfits, and I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Um, I think it's that, and then next year, this is a maybe. Um, it would be my first out of country convention.
Ooh.
I have friends that live in the UK, and they wanted to see if maybe next year I wanted to go to MCM in the November MCM, and I was like, I will think about it if I have the fundings. I wouldn't have to think about getting a hotel because you guys, my friends, don't live that far away from the convention, and it would just be getting the flight there. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it because if this is a thing I can do, that would be a great experience. That'd be I'd be in a completely new space. It'd
Hmm.
be completely new people. Like none of the like cosplay community I know from my very like small state, and I'm just like flabbergasted that they were like even offering it. I was like, oh, you guys are serious? And they're like, yeah. I was like, I'll think about it. MCM is one of those conventions that you hear about and you're like, oh, that'd be super cool to go to, but I don't think I'll ever get there. And
You never
thinking
know.
about actually being able to go is like getting me like, if I think about it, I could.
What if you went ahead and applied for doing a panel there? Something
I
along the
do
lines
want to
of like
look into
Costa
getting
Con.
there. I do kind of want to look into getting a panel experience at MCM because I know their panel rooms are bigger than normal. They're
See?
not. They also that would be, hey, here's your panelist pass, and I'd be like, I'd
Yeah.
probably would bring Thrifty Cosplay to there because hey, that's something like no matter where you are, there's going to be thrift stores. There's going to be like those penny shops, those nickel shops.
Yeah. But at the same time, you could always bring in the with like the cosplay community here in the states, or Michigan specifically. But different things like that that maybe they don't know that we do over here compared to theirs. You know, so kind of like
How
cosplay
to
across the pond.
create
You know,
like how does like the cosplay community in the UK differ from the cosplay community in the US?
yeah,
Where's the Venn diagram of them colliding over of like, oh, we both have we both have like hard time finding costumes that ship to where we are.
exactly. But they something to think about, and if they say yes, who knows? You get a pass, maybe they'll even pay you. Heck, because you're coming across, they might even give you a hotel. But these are all don't know because every con is different. Some have their own idea of what they like. Others more, it's a volunteer thing, So,
Like
but
you're volunteering. Hey, you got a really good outcome to your panel. Here's a partial refund of your badge.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be anything. But you know what? Getting out there and actually being there and doing something like that, other than just showing up and attending, what other experience would that be?
It's always a joy because I've just been attending conventions at this point, but then like friends have been like, you should do panels with us, and I'm like, I've thought about doing panels, but I've never like actually been in one. And then thinking, okay, let's do it. Let's do it on a whim of let's apply for a panel, getting said panel, and then being like, oh, I actually have to do. I'm gonna do this now. I have 3 weeks to make a PowerPoint.
Which is definitely doable.
Very doable. I've got my grandpa has a computer that he's gonna let me use so that I can quickly click around and do Google Slides, and I'm very thankful for that. Or it would be me on my phone like this typing up my Google Slides.
Hey, that works, Get them situated, get the slides. Or if you're like me, put it as a whole movie and you just time the whole thing of when things change. But I'm stupid like that, you know. Only because I know I would forget to hit the button to change the slide. But
I'm having if it is that I'm making one of my friends sit right behind my iPad and I'm just gonna be like, can you click the next slide?
yeah, you'll just give them that little like, and they'll be over there going,
Just the look of like, can you please change the slide? Please.
"Yep,
We need to talk about the next thing.
that is
I'm
true."
I'm excited for the panel, but also so nervous. I've had a bunch of like my mutuals on Instagram. I was like, hey, mutuals, how do I run a panel? And I've had so many people respond with like some great information. One has said, hey, time yourself beforehand, like make your script and then set a timer for like what your time limit is. And then just keep going because they were like, first time I did a panel, I did all of my talking in 30 minutes and still had like another 30 minutes to go. And I was just standing there awkwardly. And I
No,
was like, now that I think about it, if I get to that point where I still have like 20, 25 minutes to 30 minutes to go still in the panel, I'm just going to open up questions because I I love getting those questions because there's going to be people that are going to be listening and they're going to be thinking, being able to get like those feedback questions, also making like a feedback thing of like, hey, thanks for coming to my panel. Can you like, how would you rate it? How would you recommend this to anybody else? Because then I
yeah,
can and those that like feedback that I've gotten to other conventions, like, hey, this is how feedback has gone at my other panels that I've done this with, and I got they're either could be great, they could be bad, they could be recommendations of what I could do better.
exactly. But you see, it sounds like you already have it figured out, which I think you got this. Now we are running close to the end of the show, so we're going to go ahead and close this out with two really fun things. I love to ask people, what is a cosplay that you would absolutely love to do? Okay, that you have not done yet. So your dream cosplay, if you will. But with that, where would you get a photo shoot done with it?
Oh, my dream costume is to do Clara from the Barbie Nutcracker in her sugar plum fairy outfit, full full romantic tutu, full glitter, the tiara, the pin curl wigs, the point shoes, and I would love to do it on the stage of the DeVos Hall, just because
Ooh,
I
okay.
know that's where they do the Nutcracker some years, and it's my favorite. It is my favorite ballet, and that is my favorite like childhood movie ever. And
Okay.
it would be such a dream to get like fully into that and then just get that done. Have like the Nutcracker props, maybe have some fake snow like edited in, all of like that. Ugh, that would be 10 times like my dream.
Well, that one sounds definitely more doable than some other dream ones here because they'd like to travel to different places to get it done. So who knows? Maybe we'll see your dream one really soon.
Maybe.
Now, the big thing, of course, that I'd love to close out our episodes with is with our guest, parting a little bit of words of wisdom to any future cosplayers out there or current cosplayers. Of what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be cringe. Don't be afraid to be weird. Don't be afraid to be like, this fandom's dead. I can't cosplay. Cosplay from the dead fandom. Cosplay from the fandom that nobody wants to talk about. It's yours. Do it. Don't be afraid. Yes, there's that fear of being judged, but don't be afraid to be cringe. Be weird. Do it outside. Go cosplay in public where people would be like, don't cosplay in public. Go do it. Go to the mall. Go to dinner with your friends in full costume and makeup and not like after a convention. Just do it on a random Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I think I saw someone there at Olive Garden like that the other day. But you know what? You make a good point. Yeah, do not be afraid. Own it. Just be yourself, be fun, and don't let anyone else, take that away from you. I
Don't
mean,
let
take
the
it
stares scare you. They're
exactly,
staring because you look great.
and don't be like me who listened to too many people in the past and changed myself and took away something I love. No, never give it up. Keep that with you. You are who you are. Don't change just because other people don't like it.
It's a wonderful world of cosplay. Enjoy it, no matter how much people will call you cringy or weird. Embrace it. You're cringy. You're weird. Have fun.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate that. Everything about you. You've been an absolute wonderful guest today.
Thank you. I was having so much fun.
I'm glad to hear that. And of course, with everyone else out there, like you said, be yourself. Go ahead and be thrifty. Don't worry about the price tag. Find a different way to do it if you are. There's many possibilities. Be creative, be fun, and rely on friends. They're there to help you. Not pay for your stuff, but at least give you tips or encouragement. So be humble as well. But until next time, remember everyone, if you can dream, believe, create. Have a great night, everyone.